Hello, welcome back to the podcast of Gerardus Vanderleeuw. Today we have our guest Mara Min, who is active in politics. And since the election time is coming up, we thought it would be interesting to interview her. First of all, can you introduce yourself to the viewers?
Of course, thank you. My name is Mara. I am in the third year of religious studies, so I'm doing my thesis right now. As Willeke said, I'm active in politics, both local and for like a youth organization. So yeah.
All right. And can you tell us a little bit on how you got into politics? Like, how did you first even get the idea to get active in politics, and why did you want to do it?
Well, I was always interested in politics. So as a child, I always looked at the news and stuff like that really interested me. And then when I was 15 years old, I think, or 16, I did a local course on how to get active in politics. And I wasn't planning on getting active because I was like 15 or 16. But then one of the lectures was with a couple of local politicians, and they spoke to me and they actually said they really needed help and they really needed people to be active. So that's how I got in there.
All right. And is there anything you want to accomplish by being in politics? Something you make your stand for?
There are a couple of things. One of them is inclusion on many different ways. For example, I'm really interested in languages, among which sign language. So I would really like to achieve something for the deaf community in politics, but also for minorities such as the LGBT community. So that's mainly what I do in politics.
Right. Yeah, because you at least recently got to be on the list for the CDA.
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah, that's true. The Christian Democrats.
Are you planning on staying active in politics, and do you have any goals in your political career?
I am planning on staying active at least for the next couple of years, because next year I'll probably get in the city council. So I am planning on staying active, but I don't necessarily know what my goals are, because I don't know, it could be anything. I like the national government, but I also like staying local and close to the people who live here. So not sure yet, but I would like to stay active.
So no becoming the first female prime minister, or is that
I was planning on doing that. I was planning on doing that. But now, especially with the corona situation, I noticed that people who are in the spotlight all the time get all of the negative feedback and all of the critics, speaking about them. And also, I've noticed in the city council that I really like doing local stuff with the locals. So, for example, visiting local companies or farmers, and they can passionately tell me about what they're doing. And I really like that part of politics. So going to Den Haag or The Hague for that is a bit far away and less local.
Right, because then you would stand further away from the citizens, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, you were talking about how COVID affected how people see the prime minister and all that, but have you noticed a big difference between, what are the differences between doing politics during this COVID pandemic and before the COVID pandemic?
Well, as I said, I'm both in the city council and in a youth organization. And those are two very different things. So in the city council, I've noticed mostly technical issues. So there's quite a lot of old people, like 50 or older. And most of them don't really know how to work with technology and how to have online meetings. So that's really an issue in the city council. And in the youth organization that I'm in for the Christian Democrats, that's less of an issue. And the issue is mostly that the people really want connection and they can't find it online, or they can find less connection online. So that's a different issue.
Um, do you think it's important for young people like us to be active in politics? Or, do you notice any shortages of young people?
Yes, well, especially now during Corona, you notice that quite a lot of the people in the city council are, as I said, 50 or older. So they don't know how to handle technology, but also they don't know anything about the problems of today's youth, or if they know, it's because of their children or grandchildren. And I think representation in politics is really important. So I do think it's important for students and young people to be involved in politics. But I also know that studying and being active in anything is really hard, because studying takes a lot of our time. So that is a difficult combination.
Right. And what do you like the most about being in politics?
I think the aspect I like most is learning things about people, about how things go, but also like really practical knowledge about the money in the city council and stuff like that. So learning and getting to know people is what I like most.
Awesome. And what is the part you like least about being in politics?
I think what I like least is the meetings that sometimes can take up to hours, even though I feel like after a couple of sentences, everything has been discussed. So then you have to wait and wait, especially financial pieces. They can take so long. So I don't like that part specifically.
Fair enough, fair enough. Um, do you have anything? Do you have anything to? Is there anything else you can tell us about politics while I think of good questions to ask?
You go think. Anything else? Well, something that I found out while being active in politics is that people usually go vote for the party they think nationally is the best. But also when there are regional elections, they still vote for the national parties. And I think it's really important when you have a regional election that you also look at the regional candidates, because that could be a really big difference. And sometimes the difference isn't that big, but sometimes it is. So I think it's important to look at that.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Are there any big issues that, according to you, get too little attention in politics, or from the citizens in general?
I don't really think so, because I've noticed that if a citizen has an issue with anything, they can just send a letter and then the council will discuss it. So on the regional level, I don't think there is anything. Yeah, but there is the problem that the citizens don't always get what they want, because there are multiple groups of people who want different things, and it's really difficult to find a balance in that. But I don't think there's anything that doesn't get enough attention.
Right. Do you often, do people around you know, do you tell a lot of people that you're active in politics, and how do they normally respond?
Well, I started being active when I was 18. And whenever I told people I was active in politics back then, everyone was surprised, because at 18, you don't usually get active in a party. So everyone was really surprised and asked me, oh, just in the regular one, not in the children's one. And that was kind of hurtful.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I think most people know it about me, because I just speak about the meetings I have and things like that. And also, as you said, people can vote for me in the next election. So most people know about it, and most people support me in it. They think it's interesting.
All right. And then, well, what would a good reason be to vote for you in the next election, since you are electable?
Well, right now I am electable, but I'm really low in the list. So the chances that I will be like really elected are really slim. But how the more votes I get, the bigger the chance is that next time I will be higher on the list. So if you'd like to see me in the government, then vote for me, and then I'll go for the elect of the including stuff.
All
So yeah.
right. And yeah, how would one imagine if a student would listen to this podcast and be like, I also want to be active in politics? How would one go about that?
I think the best way is to go to a political youth organization. In Dutch, it's PJO's. You can just Google them and go to the political youth organizations of multiple parties. And then through that, you can find a lot of connections and also a lot of friends that just have the same interests as you. So that's my advice.
All right. Then, is there anything else you would like to say during this short interview?
Thank you for the questions.
All right. Then this was the second podcast of Gerardusvanderleeuw. And we hope to see you soon again. Bye.